All right, welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving straight into a brand new explainer, and I'm really excited about this one. We're breaking down the storytelling mechanics of a super charming 5-minute animated short called The Secret of Rainbow Mountain. Now, look, we aren't just going to recap the plot here. We are literally popping the hood and tearing down the engine of this story to see exactly how it uses visual cues, structural pacing, and clear thematic rewards to completely hook its audience. So get comfortable and let's decode the magic behind the mountain. You know, every great adventure needs a hook, right? And this story, it wastes absolutely zero time. Right out of the gate, it hits us with the central driving question. What exactly is the secret of Rainbow Mountain? That single question is the engine. It thrusts our main characters, Bunny, Coco the Squirrel, Benny the Bear, and Lily the Bird, straight into the mystery. And as viewers, well, we're instantly hooked right along with them. Okay, let's dive into this. Scene 1 opens on a perfectly normal, gorgeous morning in Rainbow Valley. Blue sky, dancing butterflies. Our characters are just hanging out, having a peaceful picnic. But then, bam! The script drops in this sudden visual anomaly. It's a bright, magical rainbow light beaming from the tallest mountain way across the valley. This is our inciting incident. It shatters the status quo, prompts Bunny to stand up and say they need to go find out what that is, and kicks the cheerful adventure music right into gear. The adventure is officially on. And what's great here is how it maps out the physical geography of our hero's journey. The writers didn't just toss the characters into a random jumble of events. Nope, they mapped out a very clear, progressive momentum. Step 1 takes them through the colorful forests. Step 2 pushes them deeper into the mystery inside a glowing cave. And Step 3 is that ultimate destination, the mountain peak. It's a classic 3-step progression that grounds us and gives the whole narrative a really satisfying rhythm. So that brings us to Stage 1, the first crystal test. As our friends are trekking through this colorful forest, they stumble onto a carefully disguised test of character. It's a tiny hedgehog crying next to a broken fruit cart. Now, instead of just having one hero swoop in to save the day, the script deliberately assigns a specific helpful action to each animal. Benny the Bear uses his muscle to lift the cart. Coco the Squirrel uses her speed to scoop up the scattered fruit. And Lily the Bird uses her agility to tie up the broken wheel with vines. It's just incredibly deliberate storytelling, tying each character's action directly to the core theme of helping others. And right after the cart is fixed, the hedgehog drops this gem of a line. Kindness always lights the way. See what they did there? The writers are explicitly stating the theme right after the action just proved it. And literally seconds later, a small rainbow crystal drops from the sky. This narrative is setting up a totally transparent reward system. Positive behavior and kindness, they literally yield tangible rewards. In this case, their very first rainbow crystal. Moving right along to Stage 2, the teamwork puzzle. Okay, so arriving at the glowing cave, the crew is suddenly faced with these walls just shining with red, blue, yellow, and purple crystals, plus a massive ancient stone door. Out of nowhere, a magic voice booms out a brand new rule. Only those who work together may pass. Notice the escalation here. We've leveled up from a spontaneous little act of kindness on the road to a highly structured, deliberate test of collaboration. They can't just wing it anymore, they have to actively coordinate. Now, what's really interesting is how cleanly the story visualizes this teamwork mechanic. 3 glowing symbols pop up, a circle, a square, and a triangle. Coco spots the square, Lily takes the triangle, and Benny claims the circle. The story assigns a specific puzzle piece to each character. It's showing us, without a shadow of a doubt, that every single member of this team is essential. You know, you really don't need pages of clunky exposition to explain teamwork when you can just show 3 distinct pieces snapping perfectly into place. And by placing those symbols in the right spots together, that giant stone door slowly grinds open. The narrator even chimes in just to make sure we know the secret wasn't brute strength or magic, it was teamwork. Golden sparkles fill the cave, and boom, a second rainbow crystal appears. Nailing this puzzle grants them another thematic breadcrumb, heavily reinforcing that reward system we talked about. It's teaching the audience the rules of the world. Virtue equals progress. Which leads us to Stage 3, the climax at the heart of the mountain. This is what the whole journey has been building toward. The friends finally hit the peak, only to find this breathtaking crystal tree that's rapidly losing all of its colors. An old guardian turtle shows up and drops a crucial piece of lore. He says, the tree gives colors to the whole valley, but it grows weaker when kindness disappears. So this piece of dialogue right here, It visually and emotionally anchors the turning point of the whole story. Suddenly, the stakes are massive. The fate of the entire valley's color is directly tied to whether or not kindness exists. Of course, Bunny immediately asks how they can help, and the Guardian tells them to place the crystals they've earned right into the heart of the tree. Because they already proved their kindness to the hedgehog and their teamwork in the cave, they actually hold the exact tools needed to heal their world. They place the crystals and whoosh, accompanied by this epic, swelling orchestral music, rainbow light just explodes across the sky. The valley is saved. Finally, we hit stage 4, resolution, and the true magic. So, the high-stakes action settles down into this beautiful celebration. Animals gather around, and the music shifts to these warm, uplifting ukulele and bell melodies. The guardian turtle smiles and finally reveals the ultimate secret to Bunny. The greatest magic comes from helping others, working together, and caring for your friends. That right there, that locks in the story's core message. And looking back at everything we just covered, you can so clearly see how every single scene, every little test, and every puzzle was meticulously engineered from the very start to build up to this exact takeaway. As the friends sit back and watch the sunset, the narrator points out that Bunny realizes kindness shines way brighter than any crystal ever could. And the characters leave us with one final celebratory line, shouted all together: "Friendship makes every adventure brighter." It's the perfect bow on top, leaving the audience with an overwhelmingly positive final impression and really cementing that theme in their minds. All right, let's switch gears for a second and look at the visual styling and animation mechanics. Because, a story isn't just what happens on paper, it's how it looks and feels on screen. Taking a step back from the plot, the source material actually includes a strict visual style guide that dictates this Pixar-inspired 3D look. Notice the specific requirements: large expressive eyes for that instant emotional connection, soft lighting, and rounded shapes. By getting rid of sharp edges and harsh shadows, the creators built a world that feels inherently inviting and totally safe for kids. Plus, the colorful, magical particles and smooth, joyful movements guarantee that even when they hit an obstacle, like that broken cart or the giant locked door, the vibe never actually feels threatening. And you've got to appreciate the incredible attention to detail here. The text literally outlines the exact hex codes for the environment. We're talking sky blue, sunshine yellow, grass green, candy pink, and lavender purple. This hyper-precise, bright palette, it's not just to make things look pretty. It establishes the cheerful, optimistic tone that is absolutely required for those emotional beats of kindness and teamwork to actually land. I mean, you really can't tell a story about a rainbow tree losing its color if your base world doesn't start out with these perfectly calibrated, vibrant hues, right? So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with something to chew on. How can you weave actionable morals and bright visual cues into your own narrative designs? Think about how The Secret of Rainbow Mountain tied tangible physical rewards to positive character traits, and how strictly it anchored its underlying themes to its visual color palette. The next time you're structuring a presentation, writing a story, or building a lesson, ask yourself, how can I make my core message as structurally sound and as visually vibrant as this short film? Thanks so much for focusing in with me today, and keep exploring the mechanics behind the magic.